What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today, we're taking a look at the esteemed sequel to a game that I've played a lot of. I have played a ton of Sunless Skies. I probably have about 120, 130, I don't even know. That's one of those games that every 4 to 5 months, I'll boot it up and I'll end up playing it for just an absurd amount of hours. I actually play Fallen London as well. I've got a Fallen London account that I just leave active. Every now and again, I go back and I play for a couple months, and then I just let the subscription roll over because I like both games. And so today, Fail Better Games has released Sunless Skies into its early access edition. So my guess is that this is probably going to be fairly bare bones. Basically the same way that Sunless Sea was when it first came out, but we're going to check it out here today, and I think we're going to have a good time, and we're going to get to do some reading, so that's pretty cool. Let's jump on in here and we'll do some reading. New game in Sunless Skies. Sunless Skies is in a preliminary stage of early access. Okay, while many stories and functions have yet to be implemented. As a result, earning money is currently harder than it will be in the finished game. For now, defeat enemies, deliver port reports to New Winchester, and complete stories. So we can get a disbursement of fuel and supplies. There it is. Okay. Future builds will add more ways to earn money, including trading opportunities and smuggling. Good luck, Captain. You've gained 2 fuel, we've got 3 supplies, and we have 50 sovereigns. Okay, we got a little bit of money, that's good. The high wilderness, where stars burn, the winds moan, and mist drift in ragged folds. The suns make their homes here, and now so too do Londoners, building new lives out in the dark. Welcome to the heavens, perhaps a tour of your locomotive. Here you can explore your ship and learn how to play Sunless Skies. Okay, well, I basically already know how to play Sunless Sea, so I think if it's basically the same thing, let me run through each of these menus here, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so as far as I can tell, it's basically the same thing as Sunless Sea. I went through all the different menus and just kind of read around. It looks like combat has changed slightly, but even so, that basically seems to be like the same thing. We still have to deal with terror, supplies, fuel. The game essentially feels the same, just with a new coat of paint, so I think that'll be okay. I think that's it. Welcome to the heavens. I think we've already done this right here, so I think it's time to play the game. We've got our little fart boat here. Oh, wow, we're actually like in a flying train. That's weird. We're like in a Harry Potter-style flying locomotive. Okay, so we've got like a shotgun right there, and then this right here is our heat, actually, which is a new feature that doesn't... Oh, we've got... Oh, it costs us supplies to send out the bat now. That's very interesting. It didn't used to cost us supplies, so your bat returns and sulks in the roost. You bribe it with beetles until it admits to spotting something of interest. And so it looks like we've got something over here on this side. Let's fly out that way and see what we can find. I'm sure there's something that we want to get done here. So we're in a flying steam train, as far as I can tell. Never change, Fail Better, never change. I swear to God, they can apply like Victorian London to any location, and it just instantly becomes more interesting. I do think... What is that right there? Is that like a beacon? What is that right there? Let's go check that out and see what it is. Flying in an awesome train, I am gonna make this plane. Wispy condensation trails crisscross the sky, the ghosts of passing trains. Is this a location where I can dock? What do docks look like in this game? Like, let's say that I want a dock. Is this a dock over here? So we found Criscar Station. I don't think this is a dock. Let's see if we can find what the rail station looks like here underwater. I do like how the vehicle feels very swingy. You've actually got Newtonian physics going into this whole thing where you can maintain momentum in different directions. We've got Scamp's Narrow. Okay. We've also got a bridge up here. We definitely want to pick up some XP. Picking up XP in this game tends to be the main way that you're going to increase your stats as a captain and become stronger. If we click this right here, in fact, it looks like they've changed things around a little bit more. And so it looks like we have a talent tree of some kind this time around, whereas in the previous game, you had various crew members who would teach you to do things. So like your doctor would teach you to have more constitution, or for example, you could have like spies that would live on your boat that would teach you to be more stealthy, stuff like that. I don't see anything that looks like a train station over here. Ah, that's probably it right there. New Winchester, Bancroft's Forum. All right, well, this is New Winchester. Let's go ahead and have a look at the place and see what's going on with it. Let's whip this thing on in. Yep, get sideways in the train. Ghost ride the train. All right, so Wolvesy Station. The clamoring central station of New Winchester, a place of steam and smut and thundering iron. Here you can find people willing to pay for a skilled captain's service. The smoggy, clanking, singing, stamping, thronging, frantic heart of the Reach. An opportunity, the fastidious inspector. Excuse me, Captain. A woman pushes through the crowds towards you. She is short and square-shouldered, in a neat black suit and polished shoes. She shows you the case of her pocket watch. It is embossed with the crown and hourglass of London's horological office, the body responsible for ensuring time is consistent across the empire. I'm hoping to book passage to Port Prosper, she says, slipping the watch away. I can, of course, pay. Okay. Yeah, sure. Port Prosper. Thank you. The locomotive I was on broke down following a boiler rupture. The chief engineer's fault, I suspect. A gentleman fonder of brandy than of diligence. Here, an initial sum to seal our bargain. So $50. The Port Prosper lies to the northeast of New Winchester. There is such a thing as north or indeed east. Instead, London cartographers picked 4 of the brighter, more reliable stars visible from the Emperor's New Palace and named them north, east, south, and west. Londoners value familiarity. Okay. Well, we've picked up somebody that we're going to be able to carry to a destination, perhaps to make a little bit of Skrilla. In factories thunder, its engine sheds ring with hammers and the hiss of steam. Locomotives chug into sidings for repair or flare across the sky and away into the high wilderness. We can transport a settler, we can speak to the seasoned captains at the engine yards, or we can look for potential recruits. I don't know if this game still has something awaits you. Yeah, I was going to say, we do have something awaits you. So there was a fundamental mechanic in Sunless Sea called something awaits you. And so to keep you from spamming storyline content, you get a currency that you can only have one of, and it shows up about every 30 minutes or so of gameplay. And it's a little icon that'll show up probably up here somewhere where it's a little lantern. And that means that somewhere in the world you can advance any storyline. It's basically a token for you to advance any storyline in the world. That's all that something awaits you is. And it's to keep players from bum rushing storylines and beating them all in like 5 minutes. In these games, you're supposed to do a lot of different stuff. You're supposed to wear a lot of different hats. You're supposed to keep track of like 100 different quests that can't all be worked on right now. That's part of the game, is that you're going to have little snippets of storyline, and you're going to be able to do like 10% of a quest, and then you're going to have to wait till you get something awaits you again. So you might as well go work on something else and go on a voyage, because that's how they keep you moving around the map. And so anyways, we don't have something awaits you right now, our little token to advance the story. So we've got houses, we can retire. It looks like we can repair our hull. We can transport a settler. Yeah, let's transport a settler. Would you take me to the Leadbeater and Stainrod Natural Reserve? I'd love to see the wilderness, from a safe distance, of course. You wipe your hand on your trousers after shaking his disquietingly sweaty hand. This is it, isn't it? Leaving the safety of New Winchester. Really going out into the world. Well, here we go then, eh? Alright, so we'll take him along. Let's talk to some capitans. A grizzled captain who lost her left hand to frostbite shares her wisdom. Skies are dangerous. News of distant parts is valuable. Collect port reports from the places you visit and then deliver them to Victory Hall or Company House. They'll reward you. And the more you deliver at once, the more they're going to pay. Look at other opportunities as you go, says a stoker. There are always settlers looking for new homes, passengers who want transport, or rich men in need of bloody work. Okay, there's not a lot else we can do here. There are other locations, though, so we've got Victory Hall. The Assembly, a coalition of independent-minded settlers and colloquially called Tackities, gather and argue here. Deliver port reports here to receive rewards and win the Tackities' favor. Okay. We don't have any port reports. We can, however, talk with the Indurate veteran. Her skin is brown and her hair is beginning to gray. She wears a heavy, unbuttoned coat. Metals gleam in the shadows behind its lapels. One half of her face is scarred from frostbite. She's enjoying a quiet cigarillo while her peers argue in the chamber of assembly. Good. Getting that swisher in. Sometimes that's what you gotta do. Like a mild or a swisher. Ain't nothing like it. You talk for a while about life in the skies. When her cigarillo is just a stub, she says, I'd be grateful to hear reports of your travels. I have a suspicion all manner of, I don't know, bastardation is going to kick off in the foreseeable, and I'd like to be expecting it. I don't know what that word is right there. Huh. I'm going to call it bitch ration from now on because it makes me happier. Well, that's that. We've got Company House. The local quarters of the Windward Company, London's proxy in the Reach. If I give them port reports, it looks like we've got factions in between Victory Hall and Company House. Whichever one is the working class is who I'm going to deliver to. Because victory for the proletariat. We must seize the means of production of port reports. It's the only way. Engine provisions. Under the jurisdictional assembly, we've got fuel and supplies over here that we're going to be able to buy. I don't know how much cash I have at the moment on hand. Do I have a lot or do I have a little? It looks like I have about $100. Okay, that's something I'll keep in mind then. And we've also got Majesty's Emporium. We've got munitions. We've got a gourd of chorister nectar. Okay, we've also got the bazaar. We've got stained glass, a crate of nostalgic crockery, carefully packed crates of munitions. Okay, the labor exchange has crews. Sorry, that's my hiccup acting up as per usual in the middle of an episode. And then we've also got locomotive plating, improvements, and refurbishments. So yeah, this is a little bit lightweight right now. As the game gets developed out further, I can tell you, having played Sunless Sea from its first inception all the way to its finish, when it first came out, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff in the stores either. But by the end of the game, it was like the list just went on and on and on of all the different things that you could do. So anyways, we found there's things around that we can get our hands on. My suggestion would be that we buy fuel. Being familiar with Sunless Sea, I'm going to go ahead and buy some fuel. So we got 9 fuel for right now. And then off we go. It's time for us to do a little bit of exploration, methinks. There we go. Sorry, I think I was stuck inside the station. Early access. Good old early access. And so, the high wilderness where the stars burn. We've got a fastidious inspector. Let's see here. Has a brown face, brown eyes, and short dark hair. She gives the impression of being perpetually busy. Let's begin with pleasantries. I suppose it is rather gusty, she says. My work requires extensive travel. I've grown accustomed to the high wilderness little tantrums. Your engine weathers them well. Some of the vessels I've been on couldn't even keep the wind on the outside. Okay. So what do you do for the horological office? It is of fundamental importance that 10 o'clock on the 2nd of June in one corner of the Empire occurs at the exact same time as 10 o'clock on the 2nd of June in the opposite corner. How is an empire to function if we can't agree on what day it is? Unfortunately, the process is complicated by the fact that time is less reliable than it was. The hours trade has seen to that. Okay. Do we have any news about London? London sits in her coat of smog. Courtiers squabble at the foot of the throne of hours, hoping to receive endowments of years. Meanwhile, hard-working civil servants labor to ensure everything runs as it should. Was there a touch of archness there? All is normal. I miss her, though. There is no city like London in all the skies, and Albion is very different to the Reach. Much more civilized. Okay. Well, let's keep trucking. I'll ask her some more questions later. Do we have a headlamp like we did in previous games? I don't know if we have a headlamp or if that even matters. But you know what? I'm going to send things out. It looks like we may have found something on the charts. What did we find? Ah, there's something up there. Okay, let's head back off this direction. Never hurts to find a few new locations. Supplies are dwindling after all, so let's go out and see if we can't make ourselves a little bit of scratch out here. Hopefully we can avoid getting ourselves into trouble too, because I would very much love to not get shot. You know, I thought this was going to be a game about dirigibles and planes for some reason, and instead we got trains. I don't know how I feel about that. I like trains. Trains are... Ooh, there's a little boaty down here. Can we fight him? What kind of boaty is it? Boaty, what art thou? Bodhi, I saw you. You can't run from me. I know what you are. Oh, shit. What are you? Are you a pirate? I bet it's a pirate. Let's go murder him. If I could just get his ass on stream. Come on. Bodhi, let me fight you. I think he's running from me. I almost guarantee he's running from me. Alright, we'll leave him alone. He's too fast. The fastidious inspector approaches you in the galley. Captain, good day. I noticed your ship's clock had stopped. Perhaps you permit me to repair it? She's a little case of tools and a hopeful expression. Sure, go ahead. She gives a grateful flicker of a smile and sets to work. Soon she has the back of the clock and has spread tiny cogs across the galley table. Obtuse horological tools gleam brassily among them. Everything has a place. I appreciate the opportunity to keep myself busy. Staring too long at the stars is harmful to the temperament. Okay, well, fix my clock then. That's fine. I'm going to compliment her skills. Thank you, she says, a small, embarrassed silence. Well, it says she's possibly pleased, but it's hard to tell. Okay, well, we already complimented her once, so why keep complimenting? That rock looks kind of busted up. Can I break this? It's got, like, cracks and stuff in it. I don't know. I shot it, but it doesn't look like it's breaking. I was hoping that it might. What does this little thing do right here? Oh, that's my officers. Okay, cool. Well, let's head back towards our previous destination. I see no reason not to mess around a little bit. Our heat seems to be idling. It goes up and down, though, strangely enough. There must be warmth pockets out here in space. Little pockets of warmth out here in Spotchy. Looks like we've got a ways to go, too, so we've got a little bit of a flight in front of us. So coming up on our location here, what is this? Looks like some kind of outdoor garden or something like that, like a floating ruin. A new smell behind the coal and the oil, the green, and the unlikely scent of apples. Okay, well maybe we can resupply here. We ain't got any cash, but it's worth considering. Let's go ahead and pull on into port and see how this whole thing goes. Pulling into port, I got my train right now. That's the Nowhere Inn. Behold, a ruin of giants, gargantuan blocks jigsaw together, furred with moss and whispering with orchards. A bucolic village nestles amongst them. Smoke coils daintily from the chimneys. A leisurely game of cricket unfolds on the village green. An oily-faced, black-haired girl waves your locomotive into position. Welcome to Port Avon, she calls as you disembark. A rich knot of scents greets you. Leaves and wood and smoke, enriched by an infrequent but pungent intrusion of goat. Okay. So welcomes new visitors, but your novelty wears off the more time that you spend here. If you visit in the future, you may need to bring something in order to keep them friendly. Okay, yep. The game is full, so if you've never played Sunless Sea before, the game is full of little quirks like that, where each little village and location tends to have like its own gimmick, like its own thing. Like one place makes you crazier the longer you stay there, and so you need to leave and let your craziness go down every now and again. There's another place where they trade in relics and memories. If you don't have a relic or a memory, you can't go inside the city. That's the toll you have to pay, and if you don't have that, they take it from you in blood. Like every single port in Sunless Sea had some kind of gimmick that you had to be aware of in order to go in and out without being molested. And so anyways, this game is probably going to be no different. Let's get a port report. Were it not for the talk of smugglers and skybeasts, you could easily confuse this place for a village on the world you left behind. It's quite peaceful here, apart with some fuss over a newspaper delivery. The villagers frown and change the subject when you ask about it. Okay, well we can exchange gossip. So that'll increase my welcome. We can host a tea party aboard the locomotive. But we're unsettled and we don't have a caddy of dried tea, unfortunately. And so we're not going to be able to explore too much. Let's go to the village green. A golden nebula scintillates above Port Avon's apple trees, allotments, eel fishers, and steepled churches. Here you may, if you choose, immerse yourself in the village's quaint rhythms. Heart of the village is surrounded by orchards of real apple trees that were shipped through the avid horizon as seeds. The heart of the village, surrounded by orchards. Okay, so we can wear out our welcome here. Take a relaxing stroll. Watch a cricket match. We'll watch a cricket match. So is there a more restful way to spend an afternoon? You sink into the glacial rhythm of overs and innings. You enjoy the parabolic descent of the ball into a fielder's waiting hands. You admire the gnomic pronouncements of the umpire. And so we've lost 15 terror, and then our welcome has gone down ever so slightly. We can take a watch around the village. What is this right here? Visit the allotments. Its fence-cultivated plots, Port Avon grizzled horticulturists tame the rampant burgeoning vegetation of the reach. So mirrors is one of our stats. Mirrors, as I recall, is your perception. It's your ability to notice things. It's your ability to notice things, see the invisible, stuff like that. The mirrors gives you 60% chance. Yeah, we'll give it a go. Success. Very nice. The contents of the allotments are unlike familiar vegetables, but it helps to look for the similarities. That bulbous squash is too lumpen, too spotty, too purple to be a marrow. But it is more like a marrow than it is like a cucumber. The little fruits clumped on the serpentine vines are certainly not cherries. Cherries aren't hairy, but they are closer to cherries than they are, say, to a kiwi fruit or otters. Call it a marrow, then. Call them cherries. It helps, somehow. The gardener, mistaking your cognitive reshuffle for hunger, offers you a handful of freshly dug, tapered, tiger-striped roots. We'll call them carrots. So we now have an uncanny specimen. Don't know what that's going to be useful for, but we'll hold on to it. Did that wear out? How much of this do I have? Did that wear out my welcome? We can attend a service at the church, but we still got other places we can go to. At the Nowhere Inn, Bother Ridge's Tour of Heaven describes Port Avon's single public house as a welcome respite justly famed for its authentic Old Earth cider. The locals can be welcoming for a while. You may be able to recruit more crew here. Okay, so I can read speculative fiction, or we can appreciate an amount of cider. That's what we call it nowadays. We call it appreciating cider. Well, I'm not drinking it. I'm not getting shit-faced hammered. I'm appreciating liquor. God, Mom, I don't have a problem. I have a hobby. The Cyclopean ruins. What palace was this? The Giant King made his home here. And why did he abandon the vast stores of souls that locals still quarry from beneath the stones? Perhaps you might ask a furtive excavation of your own, or risk a furtive excavation. So, your veils will give us a 34% chance of success, or we can just enjoy our picturesque surroundings using our hearts. And so none of the looming stones is quite square, yet they all slot together immaculately. What were these ruins before their fall? Even the bones are tall and stately as the finest cathedrals of old France. What purpose did they serve in the past plentiful days when their sun still shone? Okay, well, this is going to be a stealth action right here. Veils is your ability to conceal and hide the things that you're doing. So you've got mirrors, you've got veils, you've got hearts, you've got irons, you've got... I'm missing something, and I don't know what it is. There's other stats too. But anyways, hearts is your constitution, irons is your ability to fight, veils is your ability to hide yourself, mirrors is your ability to see things, and I think that's all of them. There might be more, though. I don't know if I want to enjoy my picturesque surroundings. What's in the old storehouse? Oh, we can buy stuff here. Okay. I've got a crate of nostalgic crockery. Actually, I don't have one. It just lets me line these up right here. Okay. That's cool. What's in the little orchard right here? A sack of verdant seeds. We can buy bronze wood. These are more than likely used for other quests and other locations. Sack of verdant seeds. I do like the way they've made little changes. Like, I enjoy the way that the text boxes now kind of expand outwards, like, whoop, when they come out of things now. They've added a little bit more animation to the game. And I think that's good, because at the end of the day, this is like a text-based adventure game. However, little bits and pieces of animation I think are good for making the whole thing fun. So there's Cuddlescombe over there. Nothing bad could possibly happen in Cuddlescombe. And we've leveled up. So, we can select a facet or a deed, an unlikely haul, or we can go with the smoggy streets. Okay. You spent much of your youth in the hard end of London where the gas lamps are scarce, the prospects bleak, and the people are as flinty as the cobbles. How did you like it there? You can say I was at home, or I can say that I despised it. What do I get over here if I do this? This will give me hearts, and this will give me a cryptic benefactor and an affiliation with villainy. I kind of want to have an affiliation with villainy. A week before your 13th birthday, when you would be driven from an urchin gang, you took part in a daring heist which scored an unusual haul. Silent as cats, you burgled one of the grand, gloomy mansions in old London. In a hidden attic accessed by a stair concealed in the back of a rosewood wardrobe, you made your discovery of a forbidden lab or a trove of disgraceful secrets. Let's go with the trove of disgraceful secrets. And so actually, I like the way that your level ups are actually a part of your character history in this game. That's a cool variation. In the previous game, you just got secrets, which were a level up. A secret was basically the physical manifestation of a level up, and then you spent secrets buying new things for your character. In this game, if that's the way it carries through every time you level up, so every time you level up, you learn a little bit more about your character's backstory, I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's a really unique and really fantastic way to expose a character to their own story. And you have a choice. Like, that allows you to pick what your story is along the way, too. What's over here? So it looks like, oh, there's like little kingdoms. Okay, so the Reach is basically the only place we're allowed to be. My guess is that the way that this goes is this is going to be the area that's controlled by London. This is kind of their provincial area. One of these over here is going to be controlled by some Hun-like enemy that they've chosen to villainize through propaganda or for whatever reason. That's how it worked in Sunless Sea. Like, there were areas around London that were safe, and then everywhere else was basically a hellscape of weird factions and people doing odd things that were terrifying. We've got a new location. Where is this location? Far to the north. Okay, let's head that way. I think that's a good plan. It looks like we carry our heading, too, and we're inside of the map. And as soon as we arrive at this new place, I think we're going to be out of time for the day. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerd Castle for the first episode of Sunless Skies. If you would like to see more, by all means, I would say that you should leave lots of likes, lots of comments down below, and I shall consider making further episodes. Let me know what you think. I know the channel is big fans of Sunless Sea, and so you guys will probably enjoy this one as well. I will see you all next time. Take care out there, everybody, and hi-do.